favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Good morning. Welcome to yourprimetimesports.com for another edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday, live from right here at Batten's Donuts in the Paragould Plaza in beautiful, it's sort of beautiful this morning, a few clouds rolling in, Paragould. I'm
cold.
Dave Grim. Cold. Boy, it's cold out there, but it's in the low 20s out there right now, the temperature is. I'm Dave Grim, and that's Clifton Garmrath sitting across from me.
Good morning.
And, boy, tons to talk about. The conference races in both the boys and girls 5A East are getting tight. The leaders in both conferences are clear at this point, but second, third, and fourth, that's where things start to get tricky. And that's because last night, Greene County Tech dropped a pair of games, girls and boys, at Beebe last night to muddy the waters in the second, third, and fourth place standings in both the boys and the girls.
Well, we just had a bad week this week.
Greene County Tech, of course, the boys dropped two in a row. Yeah. Well, we're going to go over the standings right now. First, we'll go over the girls, and Paragould alone at the top, 10-0. But now, since Beebe beat Greene County Tech last night, both of them are tied at 8-2 in conference standings. Beebe last night beat Greene County Tech by more than Tech beat them in their earlier meeting. So Beebe owns the tiebreaker. Yep. So technically Beebe is in second and Greene County Tech is in third as far as seeding goes at this point in time. And then Nettleton has a 6-4 conference record.
Now I want to throw in my 2 cents.
On girls.
If Beebe still has to play Paragould.
That's true.
I don't believe they can beat Paragould.
I don't know if anybody can at this point.
Paragould's really good, and I believe they're going to go undefeated in the conference. Now, they do have to go through the Tech floor Tuesday night. That's going to be
this Tuesday, yeah.
But we'll see what happens. But it's still, where Tech's setting right now is not a bad thing, because I all I've heard about is Greenwood, and if you're number 3 seed, you might not have to play them for a while. Mm-hmm. So
the way the bracket is shaking out, yeah.
So it might not be a bad thing to be sitting in that 3rd seed. I know that happened. I think in 07 or 09 with the boys, they fell in a certain position that they didn't have to play somebody. And I may not even been Tech. I just remember it was one of my coaching friends, but they ended up in that third seeded position, and ended up making it to the finals.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. It was the baseball. Coach Hunt, the year he won state tournament, he fell in that right spot. That because there was a team that was supposed to win that whole thing, and they, sometimes being number 1 and number 2 is not all, the best thing. So.
Well, the boys' standings got a lot more muddied. I mean, it's a lot more muddy than the girls are. I'll tell you that Forest City, of course, is number 1 with a 10-0 record. Beebe jumps up into second place last night after beating Greene County Tech. They're at 7-3, and then Greene County Tech and Nettleton 6-4 each.
Nettleton's won their last 4 games,
and Blytheville not far behind, 4-6.
Yeah. They're both coming on strong, and Nettleton has won their last 4 conference games. They really helped their cause last Tuesday night by beating Greene County Tech on Tech's floor, and that probably upped their confidence level and built some momentum going into last night.
Well, I tell you, Paragould did Greene County Tech a favor. They beat Blytheville Tuesday night.
Yeah, for the
second time this year. And that Blytheville would be 5-5 right now if it weren't for that, and just right behind on Nettleton's heels in the standings. I don't know what it is. Paragould, we go all over the place and broadcast their games, and they only win one of them, and that was at Blytheville, and they have a hard time beating anybody else. And so then we start covering Tech, and here they beat Blytheville again.
Yeah.
It's like they got Blytheville's number this year. I don't know. why Blytheville can't perform against Paragould. It's just.
Well, I don't have the answers.
I don't either. No, because McKilligan was back. McKilligan was in the game.
He was
against Blytheville against Paragould rather Tuesday night. So those are the standings as they stand right now. We've got a full slate of guests that are going to be on with us this morning. Our first guest is going to be the Greene County Tech girls head coach Trey Harding. The second guest will be the Greene County Tech boys head coach Scott Bowlin. He's been with us like 4 or 5 shows in a row.
He's been with us every show but one.
Yeah, that's during basketball.
Well, and the shows are set up for the head coaches,
right?
Mainly for Paragould and Tech.
Well, the ones that we can get to come.
Don't go there. Don't be ugly. And Coach Bowlin and Coach Harding's been really good about showing up for their time slot. And then Coach Smith at Paragould has fell into the helping us out with Paragould and talking about his successful junior high girls.
And he's our third guest
today. And he's the Coach Cook's assistant. He's our third guest today. So he has welcomed the opportunity to come up here and talk about Paragould and the girls program. So we appreciate him very much. And you can tell him who our fourth guest is.
Our fourth guest, he's been all over Northeast Arkansas here the last few years. He's with Stops and Win and now in Brookland. And who knows where else. It's Bobby Gross. He's the head boys coach at Brookland. And he'll be in here with us for our final guest of the day.
Second year for Bobby at Brookland and doing a tremendous job as always. Was going to try to have him on last week. He texted me the day before and said that he apologized. He had forgot about a district meeting, so I texted him this week, and he was all for it. So he's first time for him to come to Batten's Donuts on Saturday morning. Now I interviewed him at halftime last year and win.
That's right.
And I may have interviewed him another time. I don't know, but Bobby's a great guy.
And he's good radio. He's good on the radio.
Oh, he loves to
talk. If
he
ever quits coaching, he might have
I'm
another
hiring
career.
I'm hiring
Yeah. I'll tell you what. When I did the Piggott and CRA games Tuesday night,
yeah,
I had Coach Paul Seagraves, who used to be the head boys coach at Piggott. He's now the tennis coach. He helped me with the girls game, and he did okay. But then I had Bill Rabjohn. Do you know Bill Rabjohn?
Oh, yeah, I know Bill.
Bill Rabjohn did the boys game with me. He's, for the most part, retired now.
He used to ref.
He refed. He did all kinds of stuff. But he's retired now.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job on the radio.
Is that right?
Absolutely. I said, you may have found a new career. He said, you call me anytime. He said, I would love to do this. So we need to hire him when we do a hiring push. We need to call Bill Radcliffe.
Okay.
He's good. So anyway, I digress. We're going to take our first break of the day, and when we come back, Clifton is going to talk to Coach Trey Harding from Greene County Tech on your PrimetimeSports.com.
Welcome back to your PrimetimeSports.com. I'm sitting here having a good time with Grim, aggravating him. But no, we're on the Double G Sports Talk Saturday, and we're here at Batten's Donuts, and our first guest up is the head coach of Greene County Tech Lady Eagles, Coach Trey Harding. Thank you, Coach, for coming in. I know it's early this morning, and you got in late.
Well, I appreciate it. Got a good breakfast bought for me, so anytime you can get a free breakfast, I'll take it.
There you go. Tough week, tough last night. We don't never like to talk about losses or games of the magnitude that one was last night, but we kind of took one on the chin, didn't we?
We did. They're a good ball club, and like I told the girls at the end of the game, it's nothing you can do about it. We got to move on, go on the road, and we just could not hit a shot.
Yeah.
And I think finish up the game, we were 11 of 51 from the field, so 5 for 26 from twos and 6 for 24 from threes. So,
and I noticed, when we first came out, we had that hot hand from the 3-point arc, and I thought, boy, we are on fire tonight. Then all of a sudden, it seemed like at the beginning of the second quarter, they became frustrated with themselves. Was that because of BB, or was something just not happening in the lineup? What was the deal?
I think we got a couple fouls that they had to change up the little substitution pattern, but we missed free throws early, and for some reason that affected our shooting. I mean, we questioned them, why we're not making our free throws, and then they hit a few shots, and I just think we let our emotions get to us too quick that game.
And I agree with you, because I have watched Brooke Tabor play so many basketball games, and she's more of a leader out there on the floor, giving directions, telling people what to do or what not to do. And she's such a good team leader out there, and being a senior. But last night I seen frustration on her face, and it's like she was, I don't want to use the word angry, but it's like, she couldn't make her free throws. I mean, she was frustrated at everything.
And I think that's her competitive side,
yes.
And I'm going to put it in her head tomorrow at practice. Looking back at the scorebook, she had a game earlier this year where she was 1 for 7 from the free throw line, and she went off the following game. And I think she had 24 the next night, and give her a little reminder of that maybe we're going in cycles here.
Yeah.
So I think she played hard and played well, but just free throws didn't fall, and she's not the only one. I mean,
no, she's not. I just seen her face last night on more than one occasion. She's not the only one.
I think we're 4 for 14 is what we finished from the free throw line, and that's you get your you let your emotions get the best of you, and that affects shooting. I'm a big believer that shooting's about 90% confidence.
Well, I agree with you. Back when my son was in high school, and that's been 7-8 years ago, and he played for a Greene County Tech baseball team. He was mostly a pitcher. That was his main job, was pitching. And I used to tell him all the time, if someone hits a home run off you, son, just ask for another baseball from the umpire or the catcher. Turn your back, go back to the mound, and regroup. Never show your opponent your emotions and your weakness. And we did that last night. And so, they took advantage of it. They had that 18-3 run in the third quarter. And you have to tip your cap to Beebe Lady Badgers. They came out of halftime and, just played harder than we did. Played with more confidence than we did. Now, I seen Lexi hit the ground hard last night. I've never seen this young lady ever shed a tear. Two tough girls that I've watched grow up is Olivia Pritchard and Lexi Gramling. Was that her sore knee? Was that the one she had operation on?
She said yes. She had tweaked her knee a little bit, but she also had gotten re-hit in the face on that same play, and
okay, I didn't see that.
By the time we got back, her eye was black as she can be. She got elbowed right under the eye on a rebound, and we had ice on her face before we had on her knee on the way back, because I was more or less worried about a cheekbone, but I think she just got a nice black eye today. So
well, got her a shiner. And both those games, the boys and the girls games, they were just really rough. I mean, I made the comment, everyone can go to audio on demand in a couple of days and re-listen to the game. And I made the comment in the boys game, hey, let's just put some helmets and pads on and go out on the football field, because this is terrible. And it was pretty rough all the way around. Now, I was not expecting Olivia to perform last night, but when we got there and I seen her come out on the floor dressed out, I was surprised.
Well, we've past 2 days kept her out of practice and put her through some ice treatments and ultrasound and taped her and put her through a workout about 10 o'clock yesterday morning, and she felt great and shooting the ball well, and was, we did some jumping exercises and running, and she didn't show any signs of hurting and wanted to play. And I think after the game she was more upset we didn't play her more, but it's one of those nights where, like you said, it's a very physical game, and she gave me all she had,
and some.
And, it's there at the end. It just, I know she probably wanted to go back in more late in the third and the fourth quarter, but, there's a lot longer road ahead than, for one night.
There is, and we have 4 big conference games left. So, now, correct me if I'm wrong. I noticed over the last few games, and I had mentioned it to David last night when we were broadcasting, and you're with her every day, so you know more than me. But it just seems like that Allie is suited and shoots more comfortably from the wings and the corners than she does at the top of the key.
She's I'd have to go back, and look at the shot charts, but she's, she definitely likes the wing more, and that's from playing, your whole life and elementary and junior high. A lot of people, instead of calling it a guard, called it a wing. In senior high, as tough as she gets in guard now, we got to get her open everywhere. And in practice, I've got her about convinced that she'll shoot from 25, 26 feet and it'll go in. I wish she would turn it loose during the game and go ahead and let it fly. But, she started off hot, and Lauren started off hot, and, Brooke got an offensive putback and a foul early, and I'm thinking, all right, this is going to be a good shooting night. And, boy, the rim tightened up, and we couldn't buy a shot after that first quarter.
You had the same thought that I did. But speaking about she got hot, if you recall, her first 2 3-pointers were in the corner. And then she ended up later in the game at the top of the key in the first 2 or 3. She just – and I remember from the state tournament last year, I believe that's where she went cold, was at the top of the key. And I'm just trying to find something here that could be used in the future that I've noticed that maybe we need to make that correction. Maybe she might get the ball at the top of the key, but that's not where she needs to shoot it. And I thought Megan, who's a good shooter, especially inside the paint. I've seen her make so many jump shots this year. I thought she was just stretched out just a little too far on her shots, a couple of 3-pointers. She might one step in, and she probably hit nothing but, nylon. So I think they have to kind of know where their areas are.
Yeah, well, Megan's deal with the big one guarding her last night. We tried to pull Megan out on the floor more to open it up for some of the guards to get her away from the basket. And, a few times she didn't come out, and I know Megan hit a big 3 against Nettleton last week, and then and it was one of those deals. Well, let's give it a shot. She could just knock down that one outside jumper. Their big post player, we thought would have to come out and guard her a little bit more. And, we thought we had Brooke a few times. If we could get the big one out and get Brooke one-on-one was kind of our matchup. But the 2 times we did, the big one,
came out on Megan.
She came out, and then she got a hand on a pass. So it's Beebe's a tough matchup when you got 2 solid guards and a 6'3" inside. And, I heard their coach talking last night. UCA's already offered both the sophomores, and then the Jacksons got some offers as a junior. So you're playing a team with 3 college athletes on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, like I told the girls, they're not a 14-point, 16-point better team than we are.
No, they're not.
It's one of those nights we just gotta say, hey, we got our tails kicked tonight, and it's time to move on. Don't make any excuses, and we're a better ball club, and there's still a lot that could happen in this conference.
There is, and I agree with you totally. You're not going to come out day in and day out and perform at the same level every time. Especially, sometimes this late in the season, they get basketball weary and traveling weary and so on and so forth. And you can't make excuses. We have a good program, a good team. They've only lost twice this year. So, they're having a really good season. But I want to redirect my comment from a minute ago on Megan Brooks. I did not know that y'all had moved her out there. I had just made a comment last night on the air during the game that I thought I've never hardly ever seen her shoot that far out. But now that you mention that, I understand. So sometimes you say things on the air that you really don't know what the coach's game plan is or why she was in that position, because I see y'all play so much. I know where she's usually at.
Well, and, I know Nettleton played at BB the night before, or not the night before, but a
Tuesday.
week down, and I think Coach Smith talked about how many blocks they had, and with their big girl inside, and that was Brooke. We rely on Brooke so much, and that's what we're trying to really get a high-low situation with Brooke, and then the second half we switched and said, all right, well, let's put Brooke out on the perimeter and try to get her the ball that way. But it just everything we tried last night. I'll, like I said, give BB credit. They had a great game plan, and their shots went in and ours didn't. So.
Yeah. Well, let's look forward to. We have Paragould Tuesday night on our home floor. Are you any preparation differently than from the last time you played them?
The first thing we got to do is get well, and it's
yes.
You'd like us, like I told the girls. Normally after a loss, you want to come back in the gym and just get after it. But this late in the year, if we don't know what we're doing now, we got problems. And I got a smart group that's competitive, and they're winners. And we're going to, come in Sunday and watch film, talk about our game plan, shoot some free throws, and Monday loosen up a little bit more and review. And I think we'll be good to go Tuesday. And, that's going to be a battle. They know our kids, and our kids know them. And I feel like we can play a lot better than we did at their place. I think our girls understand that, and they're looking forward to it. In the locker room last night, we talked about that after the game. We walk out of here and want to look at the past. It's going to come back to get us Tuesday night. Let's leave all this in the locker room here, and let's get our minds where it should be.
Well, that's a great attitude, but like you said, you have smart girls, and they don't want to. Guarantee you they'll get up today, and they don't want to remember last night. They want to start looking toward Tuesday. So. Well, you experienced your first Paragould Tech rivalry a couple weeks ago at Greene County Tech, but this time it's going to be at Greene County Tech. So, what was that like for you to be in the Paragould gym and it packed out, standing room only, crowd noise at a ear-piercing level?
I knew it was going to, knew it'd be a big crowd, a great game. I guess the shocking thing for me was at 4:30 there was already people there. So usually when you get to the gym that early, but the kids, as soon as we got there, it was already, our crowd was already there. My wife normally doesn't beat me to the gym. I guess she knew more than what I knew. She was already at the gym before I was, and she's never at the gym early. She usually falls in. Somehow she's got a clicker in her mind or something. Usually when the tip-off goes up, she walks in right after it. So
yeah. Well, it's been a fierce rivalry for years, and it goes on year after year after year. And it's no different than the Valley View, West Side, Jonesboro, Nettleton. I don't even know if they even play anymore, but they used to be a big rivalry. Walnut Ridge and Hoxie, they've had to discontinue Walnut Ridge and Hoxie altogether. Them people couldn't get along over there. But here, it's fun. It gets a little nasty sometimes, but at the end of the night, everyone still lives in the same community, goes to church together and work together, and we're all friends. It's all fun before and during, but afterwards, it's just another game. But you texted me that night, and I was so tickled at you because you said, well, I just got my first taste of being in the Paragould gym. And I won't repeat everything you said, but that's your own text to me. But I was laughing. It was funny. So you did discard the green shirt?
Yeah, I've got a little superstitious. I hate losing, and I think girls have figured that out, and that's just in me. And There's a few clothes at the house that I can't wear, and I mean there's even a hoodie that I wore 3 years ago that I just wore to school, and for some reason had walked through the conference and was playing in the district tournament, and it's actually against Pocahontas, and there was a song on the radio that came on, and we got beat. Our kids were warming up to that song, and then we got beat. I think about 1 or 2 at the very end, and upset there, and that hoodie's in a box, and when that song comes on the radio, I look at my wife turn it. So I just there's anything that associates with a loss.
All right, here's what I want to
do.
Here's what I want to do. Grim's over shaking his head. I say you bring me the hoodie, and you autograph it, Trey Harding, Coach GCT. Well, we want to just put Coach Trey Harding. That's all we got to put, because you wore this hoodie when you were at Valley View, correct? So we won't even put what school. And we put it out here, and we auction it off, and we give the money to Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, I've got some change in my pocket. That's probably what it would bring right now. So that green shirt, I think now some of our parents have already told me to get rid of that. So
yeah, they don't want to buy it either, do they? So, well, listen, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll return to spend another 5 to 10 minutes with Coach Harding, and then we'll move on with boys basketball. Okay, so we'll return in 2 minutes at Batten's Donuts with Double G Sports Talk Saturday. All right, welcome back to Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts with Coach Trey Harding. Well, let's talk about the rest of the schedule. We've already discussed what's coming up Tuesday night. Then we go on the road to Batesville Friday night. Batesville's down this year. They're both girls and boys programs are down. Don't never want to make any predictions, but hopefully that'll be a fun night and a fun ride home. Then we round out next week with Wynn and Blyville.
Got Wynn and Blyville.
No, correct me, Dave. Which one's Tuesday night?
Blyville's Tuesday.
Blyville's Tuesday night on the road, and then Wynn, we wrap up at home, final home game, right?
Yeah,
with Wynn,
senior night.
On the 23rd. So, so is there a preference on? We're hosting the state tournament. In the seating procedures that you might like to see your ball club?
You know, honestly, and the more I've thought about this, I don't want to say sick of it, but I'm trying to get our girls to just totally not think about that. I mean, right now we talked about, I said, you know, Paragould still got us, still got Nettleton, and still got to go to Beebe. Beebe still got to go to Nettleton and finish up with Paragould. And there's so much that can happen. We've got to work on getting healthy and using any time we got to just get better. And when you get to the state tournament, if you're going to win it, you know,
doesn't matter where you're at.
If you can't beat someone the first or second round, then you weren't going to win it any that year. And you know, we're on our home court, so if we match up with a favorite in the first or second round, then you know, I'd rather match up with a favorite in one of those rounds on your home court anyways. And you know, I'm trying not to look at it too far ahead because, like I said, there's still so much can happen. I mean, there's still a chance we can win the conference. We can still finish second. We can still finish third. And, you know, we better not finish fourth. But you know, there's so much that can happen. And, you know, I know, you know, like I said, Paragould's still got to play 3 tough ball games. And I know Beebe going to Nettleton's not going to be an easy one, and having Paragould at home. So
you're right. A lot of things can change.
There's still a lot that can happen. You know, we're sitting here with 2 losses, but Beebe's got 2 but plays 2 really good ball clubs, and you know, I know there was a difference between them at our place and at home. And when you go to Nettleton, Nettleton's a tough place. If you know, anybody knows there. So that's not going to be an easy game for them. Coach Smith will have a great game plan, and And I know Paragould's got to be looking at what's happened to us and Nettleton down at Beebe. So there's a lot of basketball that can happen, and we've got to take care of ourselves. And when we get there, whoever we match up with, if we can't take care of that problem, then it just wasn't meant to be.
Right. Okay, well, let's talk about then something you mentioned a minute ago. Let's talk about getting some girls healed. Let's talk about who are all the ones that are. I know Lexi with her knee and took a shot in the face last night. Now black eye, which anybody can play with a black eye. But then we have Olivia with her tear in her stomach. Is it her stomach area?
Yeah, and it's the scans that she took. They said it's really hard to tell exactly what it is,
right.
And and yesterday when she was shooting, I think she was more or less fine. She had some tears in her eyes last night that a lot of people thought, hey, she's hurting, but I think that was just upset over the game. So
right.
I think Olivia's going to be fine. Lexi's knee was fine after the game. She's more or less just left side of her face is swollen. And I guess we'll be healthy next week. We got to get mentally healthy right now too.
What about Brooke? Is she healthy?
Brooke's good to go, and
she's had a great season.
She's had a great season, and she just and that's this group of host seniors. They want it, and Brooke's kind of the leader there, and Brooke really impressed me last night. She was upset in the locker room, but when she got out, she was positive, and we're moving forward, and I think they're ready for Tuesday, and I know Paragould will be ready for us. And
right. Okay, Allie, she healthy?
She got popped last night, and hit her shoulder one time hard, but she said she was fine. I went ahead, and I like to make them ice if there's any question, but on the bus ride home, she wasn't too talkative, but that's not usual for Allie, but I think she's good to go. So.
What about Lauren and Megan?
Lauren and Megan, they're fine. They're good.
I've never seen Lauren ever on the injury list or even prone to injury. So her shooting has just escalated to a level that she's just shooting with so much confidence out there in that 3-point area right now in her career.
Lauren's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and Lauren's one of those that if every kid was like Lauren Hodge, coaching would be so easy.
It'd be easy.
I mean, she does what she's got to do in the classroom, and then she comes to practice, or sometimes you don't even know she's there except for her effort, because she's not going to say anything. And
she's just a great kid.
I'll tell you one thing that shocks that people wouldn't know about Lauren. Lauren has came over a couple times, says, "Hey, coach, we got the ball in the wing and our, in high-low or something. The backside's not there." And Lauren actually, all our kids know the game, but Lauren sees stuff every now and then that most high school kids don't see, and I know she won't do it, but Lauren's got the demeanor and the intelligence and the maturity to be a great coach. Now she would laugh at my face if I said that right now, because she'll probably run a big company in New York someday and make more money in an hour than I'll make in my entire life. But she's a great kid, and she's fun to be around. But these host seniors, we'll miss them, but they're we still got a lot to accomplish, and we're going to enjoy these last 3 or 4 weeks and see what we can't get done.
Yeah, we're winding down the season, so but it has been fun. Let's talk about one that's not. Let's talk about one that's not a senior that I really love to watch, and she's usually one of the first ones off the bench, and she's playing with so much confidence, and she's just going to be your pace setter next year, I think, and that's Brandy Mize.
Brandy's going to, get better and better. I told Brandy last night one thing to leave this game from. Brandy was 3 from 5 from the field. And, when you're a junior playing with a senior group that's always been together, that can be a little intimidating. She's starting to feel comfortable, but Brandy can help us in scoring. And I'm trying to get it in Brandy's head these next 3 weeks. When she comes off the bench, she can knock down 8 to 12 points. That's going to help us. And I think last night I told her after the game, I said, I'll take blame in this. I probably should have had you on the floor more. And she's a good outside shooter, and she does some things that Brooke does. She can handle the ball for us against press, and she shoots. She can
play inside, outside.
Yeah, she's not as strong as and physical as I'd like to get her yet. But that's going to come with time and experience. And she's very smooth with her footwork, and got a great jumper. And I think if I can get her confidence where Olivia and Lauren Hodge's confidence is, I think she'll, really, she's got to help us next year. So.
Right. Well, and I'm never one for telling a coach how to coach and do his job, anything like that. But I am going to make a suggestion. I would put a little bit more confidence in Brandy Mize, because I think she's going to be a real asset for you these next 2 or 3 weeks. And I think you just mentioned that, and and I think you will. I've just seen her throughout the season, progressively become more confident on the floor. Yeah. And she's usually that first one that you send, her or Lauren, and she's seeing a lot more PT, and she's shooting the ball well. And I really love watching her play. And she's, from the time she was playing intramurals years ago, she's just always been one of them girls that give me the basketball. She's another little tough young lady that loves the game of basketball and probably works hard in practice.
She does. She's another one that she's going very coachable, and that's what's made this year enjoyable. I've got kids that are very coachable in this team, and very respectful and work hard, and some days I don't even want to call it a job. I'm doing something I love, with kids that respect the game and play hard, and it's just enjoyable to go to work, Besides, having to share a gym with Coach Bowlin, everything else is great. So.
Real quick, and we got to move on. Tell us where you're going today. And before you do that, thank you so much for coming up here at 8:15. Coach did not get in until probably 1 this morning from BB. Long road trip. We were right in front of him. We didn't get in until close to midnight ourselves. But the show goes on. So tell us where you're going today.
I've got a player, Amy Filmley. She senior guard for me last year. She's at Union University, and they got a big conference game today in Jackson, Tennessee. So, it's out of respect. She bust her tail for me for 5 years, and I can do a little payback drive, about 2.5, 3 hours, and go watch her play.
There you go. So, well, thank you for coming in this morning, and please be careful on that trip today, and we'll return to the Eagles Nest on Tuesday night against Greene County Tech and Paragould girls game at 6 o'clock. So, thank you, Coach Harding. We're going to take a 2-minute break. We got Coach Bowling waiting in the wings. We'll be right back with Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
All right, welcome back. Yourprimetimesports.com. It is segment number 2. Hey, man, what are you doing down there?
I got you.
He's already messing me up. I haven't even introduced him yet, and he's already messing me up down there. Scott Bowlin, head coach, Greene County Tech boys basketball. You got to be tired after the long trip back from Beebe late last night, getting home, and of course the game itself was what's the word I'm looking for? Excruciating?
Interesting.
Okay. All right. Big game last night. Unfortunately, we couldn't pull that one out in the end. We were ahead all the way up till the last, minute and a half, and then
Well,
I'll let you describe it.
It was just a situation to where we didn't hang on to the lead, and we did some things that we didn't do some things that we needed to do to win. We gave up some offensive rebounds, and we had some defensive breakdowns, which that's sort of normal for the game. Grim, I've been a head coach since I was 23, and I've always sort of been labeled as a guy who had a tough time with officials and whatever. And I'd like to think as I've gotten older that I've gotten a little bit better. But it was a difficult situation for our kids last night. It was an interesting night. I mean, I don't even know how to really put it. I seen some things last night, and I'm not just saying this. I've seen some things last night I've never even saw them in 28 years of coaching. I've never seen a cheerleader get thrown out of the game. I've never even seen a cheerleader addressed, during a game. Mm-hmm. And so I got a technical for asking a question.
Yep. Yeah. Clifton will be talking to you about that in just a minute. Yeah.
And I know how to get a technical if I want one.
Yeah. And that's not really the way you would think you'd get one.
No, and I really try to keep from getting technicals. I really do. But it was a difficult night, and not to take nothing away from Beebe though. They made some plays down the stretch. They made the foul shots down the stretch, and so they won the game. We're still okay. We're still sitting in third place with the tiebreaker. We've went through a tough stretch here where we've played Forest City, Beebe, and Nettleton, which all three are, looks like they're going to make the playoffs. And so we have Paragould, Batesville, Blytheville, and Wynn. We need to win 2 out of the next 4 to make the playoffs.
Well,
and
I don't think you're going to have a problem getting 2 of those 4. But
well,
that's just me.
I've seen a lot of things happen. When people can call technicals or throw cheerleaders out, anything can happen.
Well, how do you? My question, and I'm sure Clifton's going to touch on this too. How do you get a dog pile on the floor and not anybody get thrown out of the game, but a cheerleader gets thrown out for saying, "Oh my gosh, was that a foul?"
If that, I don't know exactly what happened.
Well, we were getting reports over there on our side of the floor of
but
what happened.
I'm sure that, and I know the girl that got thrown out. She's a sweet girl, and she comes from good people. I really don't.
How do you get a dog pile on the floor and nobody get thrown out?
No, that wasn't a dog pile.
Okay, well, let's call it what it was.
That was a scrum.
A scrum?
Yeah.
We're playing rugby now.
We're playing rugby. Mr. Bain here is one of our board members. I'm really going to try to start up a rugby game.
I called it a scrum on the air last night. I cannot believe you just came up with the same word. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we're going to start a rugby team as well next year, and we're going to bring our jerseys.
Yeah, we'll have basketball jerseys.
No, we're going to start playing basketball.
Yeah.
When it gets to the rugby situation, we're going to call a quick timeout, change jerseys, and start playing rugby. I'm going to have to read up on my rules and everything, but it's like I said, not to take nothing away from Beebe at all. Like I said, they made their plays, and we didn't make our plays at the end. We had a 4-point lead with 1:40 to go. And we came down and somebody told our kids that they needed to score some more points, and that's not what we wanted to do. They were told not to do. But, with all that being said and all the laughing and everything, and you have to laugh about it because I think I went to sleep at 4 o'clock this morning. Just got to go forward. I'm really proud of these kids. I mean, a month ago they were 4-9. And everybody had written them off. They were picked to finish next to last in the league. And, if something just, like I said, crazier don't happen, we're going to finish second or third. And, that says a lot about the character of these kids. And even though we want them to do better than what they are, but they've done a good job.
Well, and David just handed me the headset, so I guess he wants me to take over. But you know, and I agree with you totally. The boys have had a great season. The schools had a tremendous season, boys and girls. The fan turnout has been wonderful. And everything overall has just been a really good season, and I think you would agree with that.
Sure.
But and I've got to touch on this.
If it's controversial, Cliff, go for it.
I'm going to. I think the athletic directors from every school need to get together, and they need to create some type of point system. And this was given by a friend of ours, Johnny Grooms, called me last night. I'm going to give Johnny credit here. And he says this is the way they do it in Missouri. And I just want your opinion on this. And each coach of each game, so you got 2 girls coaches last night, you got 2 boys coaches. So that's 4 coaches that give these referees a grade after the game, and then the referees grade each other.
Right.
So, and it's on a 5-star point system. First star being poor, and the 5th star being excellent.
Right.
And you can have a comment. And then those are turned into the ADs of that particular school where you're at the end of the night. And then they do a point total at the end of the season, and that's going to determine where they're at next year, whether it be 3A, 4A, 5A, whatever. And it's also going to determine their pay scale. Because here's the deal, Scott. Here's the deal. You're held accountable for your coaching and your actions by the administration and the school and the Greene County Tech School Board.
Right.
Correct? Okay, I'm held accountable for what I do out here.
Right. Everyone
that has a job is held accountable.
Right.
But these referees have no accountability.
Right.
And so if you can go out here, and I see them on a daily basis, it's not just with you, it's with other coaching friends that I have. But a coach makes a comment or a fan yells in the stands or whatever the case may be. I watch these referees look over their shoulder with a little smirky grin with the whistle sticking sideways out of their mouth like, who are you to yell at me?
Right.
You know, and their attitudes have got really bad.
Right.
It's like, let me tell you something. If you gave them a gun, a badge, a ticket pad, and a billy club, we'd be in some serious trouble.
Yes,
because that's how much power they think they have.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not taking away nothing from law enforcement or a police force, but we have some of those guys out here that don't need to be carrying any of that things I just mentioned either.
Right. Right. Well, you know. We just need to see what we can do. First of all, you can't do those things until you get support of the state, AAA.
Yeah, but I think as, you and I, we played against one another. We played sports. We were teammates before. And I'm 52 years old, and I've been around sports all my life, either with a camera in front of my face, playing the game, broadcasting, whatever the case may be. And it just seems like year after year after year that these officials are getting worse.
Yeah.
They keep getting worse. And it's like, where are they coming from? Now, on the flip side of that, we have just a few minutes. On the flip side of that, I think we need to go back to 2 refs, number one. As someone mentioned to me last night.
Stop right there. I think we need Ronnie Jones and Brad Hayes to call the game Tuesday night.
Okay, I agree.
You hear me? We need you and Brad to call the games Tuesday night. Well, I don't care if that don't bother me, but you and Brad need to call the games because y'all will do a better job than what we've been getting.
At least they know the game.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. That's all right.
We're starting a rugby team next year, girls and boys. Yes, and it's going to be during the basketball season. And once the game gets to a point with the referee, we're going to stop, change jerseys, and start the scrum right in the half court.
All right, the turn around here. Let's
finish
up. But anyway, I just think that this year, ADs, which you coaches need to go to the ADs, you need to work up the chain of command and let the ADs go see Dunham or whoever the guy is over at West Memphis, whoever they've hired. So anyway, things have got to change, because you know what? It's a different basketball game in the 5, 6, and 7A than it is in the 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, and let me say this. We're sort of bashing here, and
I am, but I'm going to bash.
But let me tell you, and we have some good officials too.
We do. There are, yes.
Lance up at Batesville. Mark Harden and from Marion. Norman Gilchrist from Brinkley. I can go Matt Fisher and those people. They do.
Matt's got better now.
They do a good job.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that they're all bad, but some of them do not need to be reffing.
Right there, right.
In the 5A East.
Right.
I heard a fan with a headset on last night say, holler from up in the stands, you need to go back to the 3A. And I had to agree with him. I heard that from my headset.
Right.
Over my ears.
Right.
So, but it's been 3 consecutive games. And I'm not being biased here about a Paragould Tech team that is not getting good refereeing. I seen calls last night, and you'll hear it on the replay. I seen calls last night that were called in our favor or against Beebe, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does.
But the big thing for me last night, and it just set me over the edge, is how can you throw a cheerleader out of a game that wasn't being crazy or nuts or saying anything to that person directly,
right?
And yet I see 2 white jerseys jump on a pile, and I see a fist fly from number 23 that catches Nick Cawthorn in the face, and Nick's over there in front of the bench, bent over with his hands up in his face because he took a shot in the cheekbone, and no one gets ejected. So, I had a big problem with that, Scott. I had a big problem with that.
Well, we all do. But, even with all that being said, we had a 4-point lead with 1:40 to go, and we don't protect that lead.
I agree.
And BB's one of the top teams in the state.
I'm not knocking BB. The coach.
No, I know that. I know that.
They earned what they got last night. They earned that win.
I guess what I'm saying is this. From being a head coach and being a coach in this area for a long time, and just being a coach in general, you have to be careful. Sometimes it's better to keep your opinions to yourself. But,
those were my opinions. Those were not Coach Scott Bowlin's opinions. I'm going to put that on the record right now. Those were my opinions.
We have to take care of our kids, and our kids got to take – because here's the deal. If we make a big issue, if I and Coach Robertson make a big issue about what happened last night, then our kids are going to get away from what they're trying to do, and that's make the playoffs.
I understand. And trust me, I tried.
And whether we make it or not, we're not going to sit here at the end of the year and blame anybody if we don't. And we're not going to give anybody credit outside of those guys out there playing if they do. I agree with you. Everybody is held accountable in a job except for Arkansas officials. I agree with that 100%.
Here's the bottom line, and this is all we're going to discuss it because we're fixing to go to our next guest. We're going to go to a 2-minute commercial. But here's the bottom line. I said this coming home last night to David Grim, and I said it on the phone to another individual that called me. These kids, boys and girls, junior high, senior high, they spend 2 to 3 nights or afternoons a week after school, sometimes on Sunday afternoons. That's where the third time's coming in, and they work hard to prepare for their upcoming game. They run drills, they go through new plays, they run line drills, they do a lot of things to prepare and get mentally and physically prepared for a certain game.
Right.
It is not right for 3 referees to overshadow what the game is all about. It's about these kids. It's about this program.
Right.
And I'm ready to see referees come to a game, and after the game is over with, we don't remember who reffed because it was that good.
Well, that's I have a roommate, or I had a roommate in college who was a NBA official for 15 years. And Phil always told me that David Stern met with them before the season started, and they would be in New York City, and they would be in this great big auditorium, and he'd come up on stage, and he would say, if you want to keep your job in the NBA and you want to make and live a very good lifestyle and do things that you normally would not do, then the best thing that you can do is at the end of the game, someone asks one of the players or the coaches who the officials were, and they can't even give you a name.
There you go. And that's what we need in high school basketball.
Well, I think that
these kids deserve more and better than what they're getting, and I'm talking about all schools across the board. If these officials, some of these officials just want to think it's about them, and all of a sudden they have authority for 2 or 3 hours. And I'm tired of that, and it's about the kids. It's about the school program. It's about them being successful. So let's get away from about me, and let's start putting the emphasis on the school and on the kids. And let's watch these kids play at a level that maybe we're not getting to see.
Yeah, the only thing that really bothers me is it does affect our kids.
It does. It affects our kids big time.
It affects Ronnie's kids. It affects my kids.
That's what I'm saying.
And the thing that is aggravating from a head coaching standpoint is, first of all, high school basketball is a business anymore. Junior high basketball at the 5, 6, and 7A, it's a business. And, we need, just like our fans and our administration and whoever, they want us to put out there a quality team. Something that the kids are going to compete and play hard and represent whatever school that they're playing for and represent them well. That's all that we can ask for. The winning and losing will take care of itself. But I think to get the best that you can be, then you got to have the best officials, the best coaches, the best players that you can be. And
start some clinics, start some programs.
Well, like I said, Cliff, you can't do anything until you get the AAA backing you.
Well,
it's
AAA.
A waste of
let
time.
me tell you something, because if AAA don't get involved in this pretty soon, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There's going to be a riot one of these nights, because our headsets were about to fly off our heads last night. It got so crazy behind us with the yelling and the screaming and the pointing. And then you look across the gym, and they make a bad call against Beebe, and their fans are going crazy. And then you got emotions flaring up on the floor, and I've seen this time and time again, and it's got to be a better situation.
Well, you know what? I give credit to both kids, though, both groups of kids and both staffs. It was a highly contested game because of, it got emotional. But I was really pleased with the way they settled down.
I was too, and if you go back and listen to the audio here in a day or two, you'll hear me say in the fourth quarter, I seen Heath Matheny come out of a tied ball or something, and he threw his hands up, like, hey, I'm not involved in this. I'm getting loose. I'm turning myself loose. Okay,
right.
And I made the comment. It's like the last 2 minutes. I said, I'm proud of Heath Matheny right there for handling that situation that he did. I'm going to commend that young man right now on the air.
I know that we don't talk probably enough about individual players, but it is a team sport. But I'll say this on the air, and Heath Matheny is one of the top 1 or 2 point guards in the 5A East, and he's done an outstanding job for us. I've seen him mature as a player and as a person. I'm telling you, next year he's going to have an unbelievable year.
Yeah, I believe he will.
He's got to do some things offensively, but they're getting better as well.
Hey, we went 3 minutes over in Coach Smith's time, so he's not going to be happy about that. So we're going to take a 2-minute commercial break.
I'll send him back to win.
Coach Bowlin, thank you again. Thank you again this morning for coming up and joining us. We know you got in late last night, and it's not my fault you didn't go to sleep till 4:30. But anyway, welcome back. We'll be back in 2 minutes at Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts. All right, welcome back to Batten's Donuts here with Double G Sports Talk Saturday. I now have as my third guest this morning Coach Ronnie Smith, the Paragould Junior Girls head coach, and the assistant to the senior high, Coach Cook's young ladies, who are still undefeated in the 5A East Conference and are leading the pack. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to say, and we don't want to get off on this other stuff that you were sitting back over here to my right listening to, but I think I did see a little head nod a few times, but so hopefully somebody was agreeing with me.
Well, you've got to agree with Scott Bowlin. If he's in the house, you got to agree
I was
with him.
hoping you was going to say me, not him, but yeah, you got to agree with Scott Bowlin. That's true. So, but anyway, you had a great, successful season this year. What a good time to step into a new job, a new environment, and go 22
and 2.
22 and 2. That's impressive, Coach?
Well, it's by far the best record I've ever had a team have in all my years, and on top of that, it's probably the best group of kids I've ever had. And I've told them all along, I said we could be 0 and 10, 2 and 22, or whatever, but it wouldn't matter. It's the group of kids I had, the relationships we built with those kids. And somehow I remember for a long time, and I miss them so much already.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a hard adjustment right now. But, life's going to go on, and I'll be around for 3 more years in high school, and so it's all good.
Well, and that's the great thing about being a coach. Same with me. I don't get to coach on a daily basis, but as a photographer and doing this right here, I get to watch these kids grow up for 6, 7, 8 years, starting out taking their pictures. And I've built relationships over this period of time. And just about every year I go to class graduation and watch them receive their diplomas, and I'm like, wow, there's another group gone,
Mm-hmm.
And you build those relationships, and it's part of it. It's fun, and another part of it, it's sad because you lose a good group of kids.
Well, a lot of emotions. Even building up to our game at Nettleton Monday night, our kids wanted it so bad to win the conference. Something we've been talking about all year long. We'd beat them 3 times already. I will say that 3rd time's the hardest. We never talked about that 4th time being the hardest, but they threw some things at us, defensively a little bit different, which I knew they would, and we were prepared for them. Just didn't respond in some ways, but it's like we told the kids, we're not going to let that one game define our season.
Right.
We won 22 ball games, and Nettleton lost 3, and every one of them were to us.
And you shouldn't. I mean,
No.
They had a great season.
Right.
Would you have liked to won that? Sure. Hey, Mick, would you have liked to have been the conference champion? Sure. But you know what? You're right. You can't define the season just with that one loss.
Not at all.
So they had a great game against Paragould on your home floor last week. I was there. That was a great ball game. It was 2 weeks ago.
Against Tech?
No, Paragould and Tech.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to get. We're on the. Let me start all over.
Right.
We're on the Paragould floor. The Paragould junior girls had a great game against Tech.
Yes.
On their home floor.
Right.
Awesome game, all the way down to the end.
It was a battle. Of course, you always know this is my first experience with Tech and Nettleton, or Tech and Paragould, and it's everything it's built up to be. I think the first time we played them, we kind of got it wrapped up in the emotions and the hoopla and all that kind of stuff, and just weren't ready to play. But I think we learned from that one.
Because they kind of just started the game out and handled you pretty good all the way through. And I think you were a little disappointed. That was your first loss?
It was, and from the get-go. And even as bad as we played in the first half, we were just down by 3 at half.
Right.
And so we were right there, and we kind of felt good at halftime about it because they said, we know we can't play any worse than this, and hopefully we'll play better in the second half. But it's kind of snowballed on us. But we came back last time we played them over at our place. And like I said, the kids learned from it. Our mindset was different. And we just had to treat it like one other game. We always kept saying this is just one team that's in our way of what we want.
Right.
And we couldn't treat them any different than Wynn or Batesville or anybody else. And so I think they got that through their heads and came out and played really well.
Now, how many of this junior high group are you going to be losing moving up to the 10th grade?
Well, I'm losing 4 starters. Had nine ninth graders, and so losing all those 4 of them were starters. Of course, I've got Braxton Burnside back as an 8th grader. She started, but
you have Nelson.
Nelson. Chase is a 9th grader.
Yeah, she's 9th grade.
Corey Bryant, Abby Gibson, and Caitlin Price were 4 9th grade starters, right?
Now, I'm going to tell you something. You're loaded down below 7th, 8th grade, too.
Well, we like those groups. Our 8th grade group is kind of low in numbers. We've only got 7 for next year, but I like the group. Our 7th grade group it got a little bit of size. Got 20 some odd ball games in this year, so they're getting a little bit of experience. And talked to them the other day, and we're starting on Monday with them. We're ready to go.
Is that right?
Yes,
starting up Monday.
We're ready to go.
Well, that's good. So now let's tap into our senior high girls. We've had a good season. We're 10-0 right now in the conference. Coach Cook's done a great job with them young ladies, and you're his assistant. Where do you see the next 4 games? Who are our next 4 games against?
Well, we've got that minor game against Tech coming up on Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah. On their floor.
On their floor. And then we've got Wynn coming in here on Friday, which is another hoping for the cure game. And then we finish up with 2 more easy ones. Got Nettleton at home and then go to Beebe on that Thursday. We won't play on Friday, play on that Thursday, I think, because of scouting. So we'll only have one day, to prepare for Beebe. But this time of year, you know what everybody's doing, and you should be prepared. And Jay didn't even want to practice anymore sometimes. He said, let's just go play.
Well, he's probably reviewed the tape so many times that he knows he goes to sleep at night thinking about what they're going to be doing.
Oh, absolutely.
So those last 2 games, those are kind of like the week that Tech has had this week.
Exactly.
Nettleton and Beebe.
Right.
Now Paragould's going to finish up that last week.
Right.
Now, are both of those on the road, or are they split, one on the road, one at home?
Nettleton's at home and Beebe's on the road.
Okay, Nettleton's at home. So
and we found out last night how tough Beebe is, with their game with Tech. They're scary. They really are.
They are. They're very scary. I can honestly tell you that Coach Ritchie spent a lot of time watching film on the last time they played Tech. I seen those girls with my own 2 eyes do things out there that they knew that's where that pass was going. You could tell they worked on it. They were picking off passes in midair that I'm like, they knew that pass was coming there.
Right.
It was just amazing about how well they worked together last night. Now that was only a 3-point ball game. Beebe had a 22-19 lead. No, let me think of it. I think it's 3 points at halftime. I don't have my notes here in front of me. But Beebe went on an 18-3 run in the third quarter.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew it was close at half, and the last score I got, it was 12-14 after the third quarter.
Yeah, 18-3 run in the third quarter. And, Coach Harding was on this morning. There a little frustration set in, and he's banged up a little bit.
Yes.
That's still no excuse. And it's a tough. You've heard me say it before. It's tough to win on the road in the 5A East.
It's tougher than any place. I've been around this league for a long time, and if you can get any on the road, don't matter who you're playing, it's just big.
I seen Beebe get beat at Tech. Very close game. Last second, 16 seconds, whatever. Aaron Ferguson made the shot. I've seen Tech beat Blyville at Tech in double overtime this year. I only seen the last overtime because we were doing y'all's game, Nettleton Paragould game. But it's just tough to win on your home,
yes, it is.
Away from your home floor. So it's just a great conference. One more time, I would like to see our officials step it up and get a little better, make it a better conference. Anyway, it's just exciting, and and to say that. I was going to say this a minute ago when Scott was on the air. I think you'll agree with me. When y'all played at Nettleton a week or so ago, poor Savannah Walker never had an opportunity to play in that game.
No, she was in foul trouble again last night. She had 4 seed in the first half. So
we're on floor side. We're ground level with you guys. We're right next to the Nettleton bench, and I'm just not seeing some of the fouls that they're blowing the whistle on.
Well, we had a situation in Nettleton the other night, and I try not to say much to him because I try to stay. And Scott will know this is I don't know what word I want to use for Bobby, crazy or psycho or whatever.
Be careful, he's coming in right behind you.
That's fine. That's fine. He knows what he is.
Right there he is.
He knows what he is. But and I try to be like him because he's so engaged in coaching his kids. He don't worry about the officials. We had one the other night where there was a foul underneath the basket against Nettleton, and the next thing I know, their best shooter's on the line, and she wasn't anywhere near the ball.
Right.
And I try to go and say something to the official, and he just says, "Coach, you need to go sit down," and wouldn't even listen to me. Of course, they didn't know who the shooter was. So.
Right. There's come buddies. But, and then you and I have also witnessed a three-pointer given to a girl down at Wynn.
Unbelievable.
At least 4 feet inside the three-point line.
That was a Bobby Gross rule, I think, down there. They're 3 feet inside the three-point line and give them a three.
For all of my listeners out there, I am telling you, right now to my left, I have Coach Bobby Gross, I have Coach Ronnie Smith, I have Coach Scott Bowlin. This is crazy right here at this table.
Unbelievable.
So, but yeah, we have a reunion, and they're all talking to one another, and they won't leave Coach alone while he's interviewing with me, so this is crazy. But, hey, listen, let's take a 2-minute break, and we're going to come back, and we'll wrap up the last 5, 6, 7 minutes with Coach Smith talking about Paragould basketball. And so we'll be back in 2 minutes with Double G Sports Talk Show here at Batten's Donuts. All right, welcome back to Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's, and I have Coach Ronnie Smith, the junior high head coach at Paragould, and the assistant Lady Rams coach under Coach Jay Cook, if you're just joining us. So let's talk as we go in, as we're winding down with the senior high group that you're involved with. What's all the noise? Oh, here it is, right here. It's on your cheek. There. Get that right there. Oh, God,
gotcha.
Where is that coming from?
It was fine until Gross came in. I don't know what happened. He's pointing to hit somebody.
But we're winding down the senior high season, and we have 4 conference games left, and then we're going to step right into the state tournament, which is hosted here in Paragould at the Greene County Tech Gym. You said you've already started your junior high group, kind of working them?
My 8th grade for next year.
Yeah.
Right, we're starting on Monday, right?
You're starting on Monday, okay. Do you spend a lot of time, and are these girls that are not playing any other sport in the spring, do you spend a lot of time in the weight room? What is your preparation for next year?
We, of course, we're so fortunate to have such a good strength and conditioning program with Coach Layrock. Right now our plans are we're going to do some testing with them on Monday with some strength and some different things, and then just watch their improvement throughout the spring, and how we have what's called a 70% club, and if they increase 70% of what they were when they first started, they get a little reward at the end for that. So a little motivation for them there. We'll probably spend 2 to 3 days a week in the weight room, agilities, core work, that sort of thing, and then a couple of 3 days in the gym. Just working on fundamentals and skills.
Yeah, and no real pressure, just a relaxed situation,
fun time, absolutely.
Fun time, and just building the program.
Right.
Do you anticipate anyone in the school that maybe decides they want to come out, hadn't played in a year or two, is there anyone, or is it just the same girls that just come through?
It's pretty much at Paragould. When I first came, I talked to Jay about, how did we pick our team? He said, well, we never really have tryouts because the kids just kind of work their way up through, and it's pretty much the same kids. And of course, if a kid would move in, we'd probably give them an opportunity, if we didn't know anything about that kid. But with the program as good as ours is here, you have kids that want to be there. They know what's expected of them. They know their expectations. And they want to be in the program, so it's just kind of year in, year out, the same ones just kind of move up, from one grade to the next.
Well, I know that you're excited and proud to take this new job this year.
Absolutely.
And now, did you move into Paragould?
Yes, I moved into Paragould. In fact, before the school year was over at Wynn last year. I drove back and forth the last week of school from here back to Wynn.
Last year you did that?
Yes, this past May, yeah. I just did it for a week, but it was
okay. I started
and
saying.
Bobby knows about that, driving back and forth from Paragould to Wynn, and he did a lot longer than I did.
Yeah. That would drive me nuts.
But it was a lot of fun leaving there every day knowing I was getting to come back here.
What did you listen to driving back and forth?
Oh, 103.9 mostly, yeah. Because you knew Bobby might be on there by some chance.
Yeah, there you go. He could be on there. He loves to talk, doesn't he?
Oh,
No,
I guess.
No. But, it's fun to be such a part of our basketball program here in Greene County. We have 2 wonderful schools in Paragould and Greene County Tech, and year in and year out, they produce some awesome young ladies. I mean, girls basketball has done so well since the early 90s in this area, and just year in, year out, I don't see. I guess we just have to contribute that to a lot of fathers and a lot of AAU teams and all those things that go on.
Well, any extension of play they can get, and I told Jay the other day what was so good about our program is we get to be around our kids all the time.
Right.
It's just not like the season's over with and then we forget about them. And, like I said, we're going to start with ours on Monday. And my ninth graders played in the B game last night. So there's no end. Of course, I'm going to play other sports and they're involved in other things. And your better kids are going to be involved in a lot of things. And we want to make sure that they get plenty of involvement in those and make sure we get, as much as we do in the summer, we still want to give them a summer, have some time off to get away from basketball. But our kids just love to play and they want to be there. And I wasn't planning on starting on Monday until a couple of my kids said, when are we going to start? And when they ask you that, you say, well, whenever you want to. And they said Monday. And so that makes it a lot easier.
That's the great thing about Greene County basketball. It's a great thing about 5A East basketball.
Right.
And it's also just a great thing about Northeast Arkansas basketball in general because we do have wonderful basketball in this part of the state. So, all right, we're going to go back and we're going to take a 2-minute break, 3-minute.
Yeah, it's actually 2.5.
All right, 2.5-minute break. And we'll return with our fourth and final guest of the day, Coach Bobby Gross, the head coach of the Brookland Bearcats. Coach Smith, thank you so much for coming in again this morning.
Let me say one thing before we go. I just like to. I don't know if my girls listen to this now, but I just want to commend them and tell them what a fantastic group of kids they are, and I'll never forget them. And it's been a pleasure and a joy to work with them this year.
Been fun, and they are great girls.
They are awesome. Yes,
we
sir.
will see you Tuesday night.
I'll be there.
And we wish you and Coach Cook the best of luck for the rest of the year and having a very successful season. So we'll see you then. So we'll return in 2.5 minutes at Batten's Donuts with Double G Sports Talk Saturday. Welcome back, and we're returning to Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts. Good, beautiful, cool and crisp Saturday morning. I have for my fourth and final guest, Coach Bobby Gross, the head basketball coach for the Brookland Bearcats, right down the highway. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Been chomping at the bit to get you on here.
Well, I know we've missed a couple times, and just things didn't work out. But I'm just glad I'm here today.
Well, now, if you start, I'm gonna act like I'm a school teacher. If you start having any problems from the guy to your left picking at you while we're having a discussion, I'll go put him in the corner. Okay?
Well, as many times as we coached together and against each other, people always thought we were just getting after each other, but half the time we're laughing, and looking at each other, and we're just having a good time as we were competing against each other. That was good times back then.
Well, we actually had a whole group of good friend coaches sitting right here together a minute ago. Coach Smith was down at Wynn with you for several years.
Yeah, he's a really good friend and just did a good job with our junior high bunch, and I think he's really happy now coaching girls at Paragould and did a great job. And
you can see it in his face.
And and so I'm really happy with him and a lot of changes has happened in the past couple years, and in our lives and in coaching, and just things kind of materialize and happen, and you just got to kind of adjust and go with it.
Life is all about peaks and valleys, isn't it?
It is, and sometimes you gotta look at what are the real important priorities in life, and sometimes we get caught up in this basketball and this winning and competing, and a lot of times there's nothing better than winning, but you got to get your life and your priorities straight too.
I can actually tell you, Coach, and we'll get into basketball here in just a minute. We have quite a bit to talk about. But I can honestly tell you, when you get over that 50 plateau, there's a lot of things you put in priority. And boy, I just look back at my friends, my relationships, and my family, and how I don't have much of that left. And you just really start reflecting, and you just start appreciating more.
You really do.
I had a good friend yesterday tell me, she said, "You have really mellowed," and I said, you do that as you get older.
Well, you do, and I tell you what, the coaching profession is so tough, and there's so much pressure on winning, and sometimes you get wrapped up in that, and that's all you think about, that's all you worry about, that's all you care about, and really that's not what life's all about at all.
No, it's not.
And it's just as you grow, you mellow, and you kind of figure out what's most important. And for me, I think my life is as good as it's been. And
mine too. I agree with you.
And I might not be winning as many games, but overall, life is great, and very appreciative of where I am in my life and what I'm doing and who I'm with and all the particulars with it.
Right. And I agree with you. So, but, and we're going to get into Bearcat basketball here in just a minute. There's one more thing I want to touch on, and I want to follow up with what you just said. It's very evident because what we do and the impact that we make on people's lives. And we don't realize that at 25 and 28, 30 years, but we realize it now, what an impact we make on young people's lives. And I'm saying that because last year you came down to win, I think it's for the last Tech win basketball game of the conference.
Right.
Which was your first year not to be at Win.
Right.
And when you came in, man, your ex-players that were still on the team were coming up. They were hugging you, shaking your hand, talking to you. And, that says quality things about Coach Bobby Gross, what he left behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was a part of that community for 16 years,
right.
And I was much a Win Yellow Jacket as anybody in that whole town. And, I had a lot of great relationships with those kids and saw some of those kids grow up from second grade, little Pee Wee League, and, being involved at that. And, I tell everybody I hated to leave. I mean, I had tears in my eyes many nights thinking, what we built and the time spent and all the battles we had with the mostly with Coach Bowlin and we've kind of finally turned the corner and got him the last couple of years and had a chance to do some things. But there were so many kids down there that just needed somebody to care about them and needed somebody to push them and need somebody to believe in them and drive them. And, I think that's, I don't know, coaching X's and O's. There's so many good coaches around that are probably better than I am, but I feel like I can push and drive and get the best out of a kid as good as anybody, and there's a lot of guys that probably know more strategy and X and O's than I do, but, if you can get a kid to work hard and believe in himself and go as hard as he can, then you've won half the battle or 90% of the battle there. So
well, I realize that X and O's are important. We all have to know X and O's to play the game.
Right.
But I've always said that the most important part, and I think you do a quality job with this, just as Coach Smith does and Coach Bowlin does and Coach Taylor, my other real good friend, and a lot of coaches that I'm good friends with. I think you rank right up there in the top with those guys. It's teaching our young people. Being an athlete is a meaningful thing. You take pride and you work hard at it, no matter what sport it is. But once you leave, not all of us have that opportunity to go play to the next level.
Yeah.
And once you leave high school sports and you move on to the business world or the job world out here, you carry that competitiveness with you.
Exactly.
And you take the instructions that Coach taught you on the floor or on the field, and you prepare that through your way of life, and you use it in your way of life. And that's what you do a quality job with, is preparing these young people to do that. So,
yeah, and that's really what it is, because 99% of those kids are never going to play college basketball.
That's right.
And you're just trying to get them to have some sort of work ethic and values, and do the right thing. And life's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be bed of roses all the time. There's going to be tough times, like losses, like we had last night. And what do? Do you quit, or you just keep fighting and scratching and clawing? And that's what life's all about,
Well, let's step into the realm of Bearcat basketball, and let's talk about your season. We don't get to actually come to your games in Vienna. I am going to go to your junior high finals game tonight in Gosnell. I want to watch your junior high play. But let's tap into Bearcat basketball and tell us about your season. Where are you at in the standings right now in high school? what's your record, and tell it. This is your second year there. I want folks.
Second
out
year.
There. Yep.
Second year. It's we're 13-17 right now. We finished 7th in our conference. We play Gosnell in the first round of the district tournament on Monday night, and that's at Westside. We very young. We have 2 seniors on the team, and the rest are sophomores. 9 sophomores. I'll start 1 senior and play start 4 sophomores, and we'll wind up every game playing around 7 to 8 sophomores, and just this is the group that won the conference last year in the district tournament, and we're
you're talking about the 9th grade that are sophomores now.
Yes, they won last year, and they're very successful, and they have really come a long way since the beginning of the season, and we've been so close so many times. We've led pretty much every team in the conference throughout a game. We just couldn't finish. Last Friday night, we finally, put a whole game together and beat Valley View, which was very big for us to beat Valley View. And so, it's a struggle playing with all those young kids. But, I feel like with this group we have as sophomores and the group coming behind them, combining those 2 groups, we have a chance the next couple of years to really compete for that top level conference, because the conference right now is very senior heavy, right. And most of the teams are starting, if not 3 or 4, all 5 are seniors. So I think that's to our advantage the next couple of years.
That's a good advantage to have, and so you actually have the opportunity, if you should win tonight, to be back-to-back district conference champions. Am I correct?
Right. Well, last year we won the conference regular season and the district tournament, and this year we finished 2nd in the conference, behind Pocahontas, but we beat Pocahontas in the semifinals Thursday night. And so we'll be playing Osceola tonight, and we split with them, and so that would be a great accomplishment if we can go back to back. And a lot of people don't realize we just bumped up to 4A level last year, so we won that conference the first year we're in 4A, and that'd be a great accomplishment. Not only we've done that, the girls were in the finals last year, and they're going to be in the finals tonight also. So
I'm going to get to come and see 2
There's going to be a lot of Brookland people there tonight.
That's good.
So that's good for our program. That's good for our school. And, and that place is just growing and growing. So that's good for us.
We do have a lot of listeners on this morning, so I'm hoping a lot of those are from Brookland. You did tell everyone you were going to be on, right? So
well, they thought I was going to be on last week, and we couldn't do it. So
we had a lot of listeners last week. We were really talking about that. I told Grim, I said, because Coach Bobby was supposed to be on here, and he's not on here.
Yeah,
he forgot about his district meeting.
Yeah.
But those things happen. Now, who's your leading players on your senior high squad? I mean, who's your standout?
Well, our leading scorer, he scores about 14 points a game, is Dustin Stout. He's our only senior starter, and really has kind of carried us. Had some really big games here in the past, about 6 to 8 games during this second half of the conference season. And but after that, we'll play like our 6 or 7 sophomores, and then they're all about pretty much even, and which is a good thing. I think those 6 or 8 can really compete, and they do a good job, and I can kind of mix and match them, and we got some really good guards. I think they have a chance to be pretty good in the next couple of years, and I think we got a little size coming in 9th grade. So I think we kind of mix and match those groups right there.
So you're going to be hard to deal with in 2 years.
Well, I hope so.
You hope, yeah.
It's something that I remember trying to do and win. Win it was a little different. We had the 5A level, which you have the numbers, and we had some decent athletes. But, it was so football heavy when I got there, and everything was swung towards football. I remember some of the things that I'm doing now I had to do and win. But when I was 26 and 27 and 28 years old, it was a lot easier, you know.
Yeah.
And but you know, trying to start a program or trying to build a program that's really never had anything. There's no winning expectations. There's, you know, the changing a culture is probably one of the hardest things that you can do.
Right.
You know, it's one of the impressive things that Scott Bowlin did when coming back to Tech. You know, what 10 years ago? I don't know how long it was, but
right.
You know, and Tech had won in the past, and there's a lot of good tradition. You
Let me
know,
tell you how much they'd won in the past before he came. They won about 6 games in the last 11 years.
Yeah, and I was because I was competing. I was beating them then, and so it win. But you know, there's been some good players that coming through. But you know, he came and he changed the culture, and he changed, and you know, you put 2 state championships in 3 years and 3 finals, and that's pretty impressive. So
it is impressive.
You know, we've talked that. You know, that's kind of where I am trying to do what he did at Tech, and you know, whether we go compete for a state championship or not, you just want to try to build a program that
you're proud of.
That you're proud of, that the school can be proud of, and you know, that's a place that's really growing down there. I think that's you know, Paragould and Jonesboro probably will meet right at Brookland, you know, and there's a lot of potential down there. And it's a good place. It really is a good place
school,
to work.
Good
School, good community, good people down there, and I think a lot of potential here in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I want to ask a question here that Grim just handed me a few minutes ago, but you tapped into it a minute ago talking about Wynn being football heavy and when you're at Wynn. Has the Brookland, and folks, we get questions asked to us on our Facebook page periodically, so if you have a question you want to ask Coach Gross, you're on yourprimetimesports.com. Just go to the Facebook and send it, and Dave is sitting there monitoring everything. So here's the question. Has Brookland's new football program helped condition the basketball players for your program?
Well, I think if you know, football is good to create some toughness. You know, the thing with football starting in a 4A level is numbers, and those football coaches need numbers. And when you're at the 4A level, and I'm trying to build a program, and I want my kids all the time, and they're trying to build a program, and they want their kids all the time. You know, they need the best. You know, each program needs the best athletes out there, and that's a fight for both programs. And you know, Coach Mills is in charge of the football program. That's what he's trying to do, is build those numbers. And right now they were at the junior high JV level the last year, and this next year's coming up is their first year to play senior high, true senior high schedule. So you know, at Wynn, I thought it was an advantage. Those kids were tougher coming over for me. I always had, you know, 1 or 2 that would play, or 1 or 2 starters that would come over from football. And I think as the football program develops, and I think that would be it would be an advantage. But you know, they probably got a little bit tougher job than I do starting a football program.
I would agree.
I don't envy them, and it's probably one of the hardest things you could ever do, is start something from scratch where the kids have never played. There's no tradition. Their dads didn't play, their older brothers didn't play, their uncles didn't play, so it's just them. And
it's a whole new learning
experience. And you know, you can say I'm tough and I can do this until you get out there and start banging some heads, figure out who's tough or not.
That's right.
But you know, I think eventually what it'll do is, once they start getting their program going, it's going to help. It's going to help, and what it'll do is, as Brookland grows, it's going to attract more kids, and that's the whole thing. You know, you give kids up more opportunities, and you know, because I'm sure there's people that, well, we don't have football. We'll go to Nelson or Valley View or Tech right up the road. So, so I think it'll eventually it will help the whole school.
I agree with you, and I'm sure that you know, when you get to this 4A level and 5A, especially in the 7A, because I lived in Springdale for 2 years and I went to a lot of the 7A games, you just don't have a lot of athletes that that play 2 sports anymore, and it's almost obsolete for someone to play 3.
It is.
So most of the time, and this feeds off of this question here, is if you're basketball, you're going to be in tip-top basketball condition because you're usually playing year-round.
Right.
Every sport now, in football they have flag touch or whatever in the summer.
7-on-7.
7-on-7, whatever. And then they have their games, and then in basketball you got all these team camps in the summer, and you guys are gone all the time. Baseball's the same way. You have AAU. So everything's pretty much been narrowed down to specialized.
Yeah, it has, and it to a point that's good, and to a point I don't really like it because it doesn't give a kid a chance to be a kid,
right.
And but it's the animal that we're in. It's the way it is. It's like, okay, your whole conference is playing 35 games during the summer. You better play 35 games during the summer, or you're falling. That's a whole season, falling behind. And the football coaches, they want to play 7-on-7 now. If you don't play 7-on-7 now, you're falling behind.
Yeah.
And you have American Legion baseball, and
it's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in, and it's fast paced. And I remember my first 2 years in Wynn, we didn't go to team camps. I opened the gym 3 nights a week. We scrimmage up and down the court, play for 2 or 3 hours. The weight room was open during the day, and that's the way it was. And now it's we played 42 games in senior high last year, and last summer, and played 38 in junior high.
Wow!
And just trying to get better. You got to do it because everybody else is.
I agree with you. There are pros and cons to this. But I wouldn't take nothing. I'm sure you wouldn't either. I wouldn't take nothing from my childhood growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in here in Paragould. Most of those guys are still my friends today. There was a age spread there of about 5 or 6 years, and we played ball every day in the 60s and
right.
70s. And I played 3 sports in school,
right?
And most kids did.
Yeah, we all did, and it's like we went from football to basketball, and the basketball you went to baseball or track. That was at my high school, and it's like growing up in the 70s, we either played backyard football where we kill each other.
There was no grass in your yard.
You learn how to be tough.
That's right.
We play some kind of baseball, wiffle ball. We play basketball to where you just got that toughness.
It's not like that no more.
It's not like that. And
not in this area anyway.
No, I don't think it is too many areas, but.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick 1 or 2 minute break. We're going to return, and we'll wrap up with Coach Bobby Gross, and then Dave and I will wrap up today's show. Okay, so we'll return in 2 minutes with Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's. All right, welcome back to Double G Sports Talk Saturday here at Batten's Donuts. Bobby, we just doggone it ran out of time.
Yeah, we could do this for 2 or 3 hours.
I really believe we could. So my question to you is, will you come back?
Oh yeah, I'll come back.
Oh,
no question.
Man, thank you so much. And
I just enjoyed seeing Coach Bowlin. Hadn't seen him in a while. I don't get to see him as much now. We're different conferences and now we live in the same town, so it's
you're going one direction, he's going another.
Yeah, it is. That's just the way it is.
This wasn't intentionally put together like this, but it's kind of a family reunion in here this morning. You had Coach Bowlin, Coach Smith, and,
yeah, it is.
And you're our first time to be our guest as far as Batten's is concerned. You've been on our halftime show at ball games before. But, man, we loved having you, and we want to let you know, and please let your fans and people know that yourprimetimesports.com is very supportive of Brookland. We don't get to do much of the schools below 5A because we're so active in the 5A, but we're hoping that all that will change in the near future.
Right.
So just let them know that we're supporting you. We're behind you. I'm going to be at your game in Gosnell tonight. That was Papa Jim Bowlin calling my phone, so he may want to ride with me. He may be with me, my friend.
I tell you what, he's the best fan that Greene County Tech basketball ever have. I think standing right across the court, and he's in there just
same chair every time,
and getting after it. So.
Yeah, he's
good guy, good people.
He's kind of like my own father. So, but that was him calling me, so I'm sure that's what he's wanting to ask. So, but anyway, thank you for coming this morning.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Good luck for you. Good luck to you tonight, and just look forward to seeing you continue to build that program down at Brookland. So, if you'll hand that mic over to
all right.
Grim, man, we will wrap up this morning, and you need to come around this way?
I'm going to come over, yeah.
Okay.
So here's what's going on this coming week on yourprimetimesports.com. We've only got one game to broadcast for you, and that's going to be Friday. The reason for that being Tuesday, Tech and Paragould play each other. And so there's no reason for us to broadcast. Everybody and their dog is going to be at the game. And if they're not, they'll watch it on TV.
Our listeners that.
Okay. All right. Everybody and their second cousin is going to be at the game.
There you go. Be nice.
And if they're not, they'll be watching it on TV. So I'm actually going to get a night off. I may come to the game or I may watch it on TV. Don't know. But anyway, we're not going to be on with a game Tuesday night.
I'm glad you're getting a night off, because last night, you know what he said to me last night? I spend more time with you than I do my wife. Boy, that just made me ill at my stomach.
Yeah, that made me ill too, trust me. So, and Friday we'll be back on the air. We're going to go down to Batesville to do Greene County Tech at Batesville. I'll actually be breezing in there at the last minute because I'm going to be at the state bowling championship in Cabot during the day.
We cover everything.
Yeah, I know. Brookland's got some bowling. Yeah,
I got some bowling awards.
So I'm going to be down there at Cabot for the bowling championship. Then I'm going to breeze into Batesville. We're going to do Greene County Tech at Batesville Friday night, and then back here on Double G Sports Talk Saturday, 1 week from today, with a whole new slate of guests for you.
Yep. I'll be putting that together this week. I'll get my finger texters out and start texting coaches. I'll be in there and just texting people. So that's what I do.
It's good to have a talent, Clifton. You have a talent for texting.
Boy, I don't like it.
That's it. That's Clifton, and I'm Dave, and we'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great day.